When we return, we'll be looking at the pluses, the minuses of the actors in the Northwest zone during the governorship and Houses of Assembly election. You're still watching Decision 2019. Plenty more still ahead. Do stay with us.
Arise News, in partnership with Center for Democracy and Development.
Thinking of banking in Africa? Think Zenith. In today's fast-moving, fast-changing world, you need a financial partner that understands your unique expectations. A bank with presence in major financial centers across the world, with the enabling platform to facilitate seamlessly, whenever, wherever, however. A bank with best-in-class financial solutions from a superb combination of technology and human touch for easy, fast and secure banking that creates real value. Turning dreams into reality is now in your hands. People, technology, service. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
As a fashion writer, I know how quickly trends are created and changed. In business, it's no different. To stay ahead, I needed a plan flexible enough to meet my changing communication needs. More Business 2.0 didn't just give me voice and data in one package. I got a whole lot more. With More Business, setting up my website was no problem. But I'm not just a fashion writer. I also own a home decor store before I decided to open an accessory store. With my customized More Business plan, managing my staff's communication is easy. No matter how frequently they come or they go. With 9mobile's new online self-service this week, I could adapt my plans to include this.
From 2,000 Naira, choose a business bundle, customize your staff's voice and data lines, and enjoy a variety of add-on business services. Dial *200 *5# now to subscribe. More Business.
Arise News, in partnership with Center for Democracy and Development.
All right, welcome back to Decision 2019, where we'll provide context and perspective on the most important issues around Nigeria's general elections. I am Christian Ogodo. Thanks for staying with us. Okay, let's continue now and x-ray the northwest zone of Nigeria, where you have 7 states: Kano, Katsina, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara. In Zamfara state, during the presidential and national assembly elections, Nigerians were astounded, surprised to see the humongous figures of voters who came out in a state where insecurity has pervaded in the last 4 or 5 years. How is that, Dr. Joe?
I don't know.
Your answer is like this thing was probably conjured somewhere in outer space.
No, my answer is I simply don't know. There are probably a number of factors that came into play. Either those votes were not
Idayat
real.
is already wiping her face because she knows.
No, I don't know.
It's all right.
Okay.
I'm sure you would know because you've done loads of analysis on the CDD. I mean, you know.
Maybe she's in a better position.
Okay,
to
but
answer.
Idayat, let's hear you, because you've talked about the decline, you understand, of turnout in elections since 5, 6, 7, 8 years, or 3, 4 elections now. So how in this volatile state did we get such turnout?
I think really people should really understand. I don't know, I can't claim to know, but I think we should understand that there were geopolitical dynamics in elections in Nigeria. And the level of participation also varies, or political awareness varies. You can never compare the South to the North. In the North, they vote. Either we are talking about contriving reasons like insecurity is not a good enough excuse to challenge the turnout or outcome. So it's never been. Then if you look at it also historically and say that, is this what is Zamfara State? Zamfara State has always been an APP, ANPP, APC state. Opposition since 1999.
Yeah.
And they voted that way. In fact, in 1999, when there was the alliance between APP and AD, Zamfara in the presidential elections voted for the APP. In fact, ADAPP won only 9 states.
Yeah.
Apart from the 6 southwestern states, Zamfara, Yobe, and I'm not even sure they won Borno. Borno has tilted twice, but the governorship in Borno is always belonged to the APP, ANPP, and now the APC, like that. But Zamfara has been like that since. So, and since Buhari has also been contesting, they have always been voting for him. So it's not to contrive insecurity. That one we need evidence to start talking about. Maybe because of insecurity, people will not come out to vote. And we also have to be sure, because INEC made provision for IDP votings in a number of states and how that actually played out. So bringing up tempers and talking about that either in the southeast, in the northeast, or in the northwest, it's something that we should not.
Okay, that probably is subject to more evidential based investigation. All right, let us look at Kano State. Well, even Zamfara State, like you've underscored, you know, is always belonged to the opposition. But today they are in the ruling party, you know, which is okay. You would say it's what they've always deserved. Let's look at the contest there between the PDP and the APC. There's been this back and forth about, you know, Zamfara not having a candidate on the ballot and the rest, and that at one time was given the PDP an edge. How do you see this playing out?
I think the battle is already won and lost, because when you look at the last elections, who won all the seats?
The APC. The
APC, the 3 senatorial districts. So I think Zamfara will be more in terms of why we should care about Zamfara as a battleground state. It's not only because of the votes from that, it's also the actions of some non-state actors, what that insecurity could cause. The last elections now, we never saw evidence, for instance, which may still emerge, because I remember in 2015, nobody talked about Boko Haram attacking during the elections. Until later, we now had Boko Haram killed 41 people, which was, there are also always attempts to suppress news. So what will the bandits who have been going around burning villages,
do on election
kidnapping, do on election days? Those are the kind of things we
well,
should
maybe
be
they
talking
too
about.
vote on election days.
No, so our emphasis in the northwest in particular should be what will happen in Sokoto, what will happen.
We're going to come. We're going to come there. You know, it's going to be step by step. You know, Zamfara. You've said it. I mean, it's a bandwagon that they've always voted this way, and of course, you still want to expect a PC to carry the day. Let's come to Kano. That is one contentious, you know, state in that zone. It's Kwankwasia versus, you know, Gandujia. It's a real battlefield. With your experience in governance and the rest, how do you underscore this? Kwankwasia, you know, served the people for 8 years. It's the first governor in Kano State to have served 2 terms. None has ever happened in the history. Do you see Ganduje with all the swords of Damocles hanging over him, you know, securing a 2nd term against the PDP's candidate in that state, that Abba Kabir Yusuf, if I'm right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kwankwaso is very, very popular in Kano. There's no doubt about that. His Kwankwasia movement is one of the strongest political movements in Nigeria.
Just like we're having the Otoge movement now in
Kwara
State.
That is not yet as strong as that's not yet as strong as.
But it has come like a hurricane, like a tsunami, sweeping off, you know, an Iroko in Nigeria's political
Correct. But don't forget that Ganduje was a protege of Kwakwanso. They were originally in the same camp. Ganduje has been, I think, severely damaged by this video appearing to show him receiving bribes, receiving bribes in millions of dollars.
So the people are at a crossroads. The Kano voters, electorate, are at a crossroads?
They are at a crossroads because, like I said, Kwankwaso is wildly popular, particularly among the youth. And then there's Ganduje riding on the back of President Buhari's popularity there as well. Apart from the fact that in his own right, he's also...
He's been around for a long time, since the Second Republic. He's not a latter-day politician.
Yes, and he's also got some accolades. He's won some awards in the press for his work in health, for his work in education.
Women empowerment, youth empowerment. I thought, I mean, he was really doing well.
So there is that tension between the two, and it's difficult to say. But I think the fact that the Kwankwasia was not able to make appreciable inroad into President Buhari's popularity seems to suggest that maybe they are not as influential as they appear to be.
Idayat, you had a wry face when I said I thought Ganduje, had done, well from what he reeled out.
I think it's not about who has done well. If it is performance, this elections is not really about performance or about issues. There are issues to be discussed.
But that is really sad.
So it's sad. So if, for instance, the allegation of the corruption, bribery, the dollar gates should have been a very important issue to discuss in the election.
Well, the courts have put a cog in that
but the people
wheel
should
right
still
now.
continue talking about it. But in Kano, the next thing after Aminu Kano is Kwakwanso. And he's been he has a huge following. And his outing during the presidential elections is completely different thing, because there is the Buhari tsunami, which people will associate with. I'm not sure if that will play out in the governorship elections. But there are other issues which will play out during the governorship elections. One is the fact that Kwakwanso, since he moved to the primaries itself, has been contentious. The fact that he handpicked, he said to allegedly handpicked his son-in-law in Kabil Yusuf.
No, the court has dismissed that. Appeal
no,
court has said,
but that one is a sentiment in the heart of the people. If you are talking about the Otoge, the Imo case, the fact that people no longer want dynastic rulers, So that's a very important factor for the people, really. Of course, the court case would have set them back these last 3 days because it's going to get some of their supporters to be thinking, think, will they contest, will they not contest, and all that. But thank God the Court of Appeal has actually set that aside. But again, the fact is, most of the people he defected with into the PDP have left. No, they left to join APC. So Professor Hafiz, the former deputy governor, who resigned as a Ganduje's deputy, has now moved back and followed his principal, Kwakwanso, has now defected back
to the APC.
To the APCs. And you have like 6 very top politicians like that doing the same thing. Even his chief of security, what is Dambazao? Dambazao himself again has also moved back. These are very important people in the Kwakwansia movement. And
you have the Kabiru Gaya influence there too.
So they have moved back. Don't also forget that Ganduje is more stronger because he has the former governor who left APC when Mr. Kwakwanso came to APC now, the Shekara guy, now in his own ranks. Now, this is going to be a very hard-fought election.
So, on a scale?
On a scale, it's too close to call. It's too close to call, particularly with what happened the last 3 days, which caught many people. It might be a free ride, but I think it will be too close to call, and we'll see a lot of violence coming into play.
But why are they not burning
elections?
INEC office there? Why are they not chasing? Why are they not chasing voters away? Why is it that it is only in the south that this play out? Is it not the same, you know, political apple that is at stake here?
That is the electoral geography issue. There are different ways of winning elections in different parts places of the country.
It's interesting.
So in the north, it will be to appeal to the people. It will be some untoward issues that we don't want to start talking about again, so that we don't resuscitate it in the hearts of the people. That people use to win elections. Then you will now think of post-election violence as a strong likelihood. But the issue of burning INEC offices, that will not happen. But do not note, in this last couple of days, since the big rally, the PDP presidential rally, lots of houses were touched between the Gandujia and the Kwakwansia. And they fought for the last 2 years also.
Okay, let's go to the Caliphate, Sokoto State, where you have the godfather and the godson. Wamako, the former governor, and his protege, Tambuwal, who at one time was the number 4 man in the country, now number 1 man in Sokoto. It's topsy-turvy, you know, the scale. How do you weigh it?
It is, and Wamako is still very strong. It's still very popular in Sokoto State. A lot of people from Sokoto State feel that Tambuwal has not really focused on the state. He's been chasing the presidential nomination. He's spent a lot of time out of the state than he would have. But they also recognize that he's made some development strides in the state. So it's going to be really difficult. And of course, there are the traditional and religious institutions who they go with would have quite an effect on the outcome. So it's really difficult to say what would happen. Of course, there is the power of incumbency to think about. There is the issue of the youth and who the youth would listen to. So I think it's going to be very interesting. I can't really tell what the outcome will be.
Idayat, when you look at the Sokoto State, it's been a conservative political, you know, drive from the times of the late first democratically elected president of Nigeria, President Shehu Shagari, even up till this moment, or before they switch from APC to PDP and the rest. You could just point the direction where they are going. Is it so difficult to do that now? It's
not really. I think Sokoto is a state that people have written off Governor Aminu Tambuwal in this contest, but I think they are not looking at the numbers, and that should actually not happen, because it's in Sokoto State that PDP had the best outing in northern Nigeria, northwest, at least any state they did not win. They were able to pull over 390,000 votes as against like 460 of Buhari, but I'm so sure of PDP vote, they put 390,000 plus.
Less than 100 or something thousand.
So that tells you something. That was not a 80-20 or 79.1 defeat like in Kano. It tells you that the contest is actually very, very close. And when it becomes local, Governor Aminu Tambuwal still has in his camp Atairu Bafarawa, the former governor too. He has the Shagari, Mukhtar Shagari, and of course, by that, possibly the whole of the Shagari family dynasty behind him. And he has done some very good projects, which like the Sakat system, which is almost like automatic, so nobody is waiting. Nobody is talking about social security, but people somehow, they are just getting their money, collecting Sakat monthly, and they are getting it just directly like that without any stress. or looking for it. Healthcare, yes, there are challenges here and there, but when you put that together and when you look at the votes they were able to get for their presidential candidates in an election where you know that there is a Buhari tsunami in the Northwest.
Assembly candidate.
So that tells you something, that it's going to be a closely won contest between the godfather and the godson. We will see who will actually dethrone
the other or retire the other. Okay, from Sokoto, let's go to one of the outer states around there, which is Kebbi, Bagudu. Is like regarded as the father of the rice revolution in Nigeria, and APC PDP to some people from there is like a no contest. This is a smooth sail for Bagudu. You know, 12 million Nigerian farmers came out the other time to endorse President Buhari, endorsing him too, although we didn't see the 12 million Nigerian farmers voting. If not, Buhari's vote should have probably been about 27 to 30 million, including his 15 million. Any contestation in Kebbi State at all?
I think the Buhari tsunami will play out in some of these states. So if you look at Kebbi, you look at Katsina, it's not going to be because the people really worked or they perform. It's not based on performance. It's going to be based more on the SAC system.
And sentimental.
Yeah, what
that's
they
just
have.
raw
so that's
sentiment.
The SAC. They just say, okay, vote from head to up to down. Just vote for APC. And that will happen. But it's only in places like Jigawa that we should start looking at what is likely going to happen. Because that's the traditional PDP stronghold, which through the bandwagon effect, so we will publish our paper today.
But used to be a PDP stronghold.
So those are the states they lost after the Buhari tsunami. So those are the bandwagon states. So they then lost those states immediately after the 2015 presidential elections. They now joined the circle of states that came to the.
But if you look at Kebbi, Kebbi has made a lot of progress actually recently. He's done a lot on rice. He has flights going into the state now. It's done some collaboration with Lagos. So there are a lot of things. Before now, nobody heard anything about Kebbi.
Very peaceful.
Yes, it has been. There have been no issues of violence or major tension.
And the wife, well, she doesn't like being called the first lady, you know, the medical doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Zainab.
Yeah, Dr. Zainab. She's done so much for Nigerian women and children.
She does fantastic
although it's
work.
localized, you know, but she has a base.
Beyond the local, she does fantastic work fighting cancer all through Nigeria, internationally. She does, you know, very, very good work on health.
Okay. We've got just one more minute, but let's quickly look at Kaduna, another very volatile area in this contestation. You know, look at all that happened preceding the presidential election and the rest, and it's a Muslim ticket, excluding.
Kaduna has all the ingredients. There are issues of religion. There are issues of geography, north and south divide. There are issues of gender, because the female, the deputy governor nominee is probably, I think, the first female deputy governor aspirant in the north. She comes from a predominantly Christian part of the country. There is the Buhari factor. There is El-Rufai as a person who generally tends to be a controversial person. There is the fact that you can't also deny that he's done some very good work. So, but then he's also upset a lot of people. So you have all the dynamics there. It's going to be really interesting.
Two things will define the Kaduna election. The geography, which is the north-south divides, the Kaduna, the Hausa Fulani and the southern Kaduna, the Christians, and of course the Christian Muslim votes.
All right. Well, I can't thank you folks enough. It's been quite inspiring, and Nigerians are really looking forward to tomorrow's elections. Just hoping that the security architecture being put in place would just be okay for them. Let me thank you, Idayat Hassan, Director, Center for Democracy and Development, a regular face here and a partner with Vision 2019. Thanks for coming. And Dr. Joe Abah is the country director of DAI. Well, that's it for this edition of Decision 2019. Join us again for a fresh edition tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye and thanks for watching.